A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a pivotal moment for European unity and support for Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to arrive in Brussels for an important summit on Thursday. His mission: to persuade European allies to utilize frozen Russian assets to bolster Ukraine's defense against ongoing aggression from Moscow. This comes at a time when the Trump administration is reportedly lobbying against such a plan, urging EU nations to refrain from tapping into these resources. A senior Ukrainian official has disclosed that Zelensky's efforts aim to rally support for a proposed €90 billion $105 billion loan, which would be secured against the frozen assets of the Russian central bank. This financial strategy is designed to aid Ukraine in repelling Russian forces and would be repaid from any future reparations that Russia may owe Ukraine. The proposal has garnered substantial backing from several EU member states, particularly Germany, but has faced resistance from others, notably Belgium, which is home to Euroclear, the organization that holds a significant portion of these assets. Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever has expressed concerns regarding potential Russian retaliation, highlighting a growing divide among EU nations on how to proceed. As Zelensky prepares for the summit, he faces an uphill battle, with 7 countries reportedly opposing the plan. The situation is further complicated by the Trump administration's stance, which appears to view the frozen assets as a crucial bargaining chip in negotiations with Moscow. A U.S. official, speaking anonymously, indicated that European leaders are seeking guidance from Washington as they navigate the complexities of this issue without appearing publicly adversarial. The stakes are high, as the EU aims to secure urgent funding for Ukraine amidst pressures to make territorial concessions to Russia as it gains ground in the conflict. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating that supporting Ukraine's defense is of paramount importance. She outlined 2 potential funding options for Ukraine's immediate needs: joint EU borrowing or a reparations loan backed by the frozen Russian assets. However, Belgium has raised doubts about the viability of this approach, fearing that it could leave the nation exposed to significant financial risks should the plan fail. The Russian central bank has recently filed a claim for $230 billion in damages against Euroclear, further complicating the situation. Italy has emerged as a key player in this debate, with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni advocating for a legally sound approach to using Russian assets without compromising Italy's principles. Meanwhile, Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz remains optimistic about the potential for agreement, asserting that the funds could sustain Ukraine's military efforts for at least 2 more years. The EU's strategy hinges on the notion that the frozen assets, which were immobilized following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, should not be considered a loss for Moscow. However, Russia has vehemently opposed the idea, labeling it as theft and threatening retaliatory measures. As the summit approaches, EU officials are grappling with the need for a resolution that balances support for Ukraine with the legal and political ramifications of utilizing Russian assets. The urgency of the situation is underscored by the fact that Hungary, which is resistant to Ukraine's cause, has pledged to veto any attempts to use the EU budget for Ukrainian loans. In contrast, the reparations loan could proceed with a simple majority vote among member states, although isolating Belgium in the process would be a delicate matter. The EU's recent decision to freeze €210 billion of Russian assets indefinitely illustrates the bloc's commitment to maintaining control over these funds, while also exploring alternative avenues for financing Ukraine's defense. As discussions unfold, the prospect of a reparations loan appears to be the most viable option, despite concerns about the legal implications of circumventing unanimity requirements. The outcome of the summit will undoubtedly shape the future of EU support for Ukraine and its ongoing struggle against Russian aggression, with Zelensky's visit marking a critical juncture in this complex geopolitical landscape. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.